What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and we have a big update on Florian Neuhaus because Liverpool are planning to make a big transfer offer and they are planning to bid for the Borussia Mönchengladbach midfielder who is at the Euros with Germany, and they will target him as a Wijnaldum replacement, and that is according to German journalist Florian Plettenberg, who said this. This is a huge update about Neuhaus, and due to many inquiries, he said this: Liverpool FC is definitely a highly interesting option for Florian Neuhaus. A concrete offer from Liverpool is expected for Neuhaus. It's also up to Jurgen Klopp. He's a big fan of him, and a decision on his future will be made straight after the Euros. So in this video we will talk in detail about this transfer report, and also we will take a look at Florian Neuhaus, what kind of player he is, how he would fit into Liverpool, and what his career so far looks like. So if you are excited about this, leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, turn on the bell notification so you never miss the latest Liverpool transfer news updates. And I'm absolutely loving the Euros so far. Tomorrow I'm attending my second Euro 2021 game against France. I already uploaded a vlog of the Hungary-Portugal game. It went up earlier today on my channel, so make sure to check it out. It's a very entertaining one with a great atmosphere, and I also managed to film some of the goals for that game as well. So Liverpool are expected to find a replacement for Wijnaldum, who is also having a great Euros, and many Liverpool fans are already thinking, how will Liverpool replace Wijnaldum with his high energy? But Yuri Tielemans is another reported transfer target, but because Tielemans is playing in the Premier League for a few years now, his price tag is expected to be almost double the price tag of Florian Neuhaus, and that's the big benefit of signing players from the Bundesliga, that their value is not as high, their transfer fee is not as high as players in the Premier League. And following a recent claim made by Bundesliga journalist Christian Falk, who supported the suggestion that Florian Neuhaus is a big target for Liverpool. And Neuhaus is a much more attack-minded player than what Wijnaldum's role was at Liverpool. And Neuhaus is still only 24 years old. He is at the close to his peak of his career, and last season I think he started scoring goals more regularly, scoring 8 goals in 45 games for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Before that he scored around 4 or 5 goals every season in the Bundesliga, but he's already a pretty experienced player, having played 160 games in professional football. And also, Florian Neuhaus is a much more attacking-minded player than Wijnaldum, so we can expect 5 to 10 goals from Neuhaus every season, and hopefully he can stay fit a lot more often than somebody like Naby Keita. And Florian Neuhaus, if you look at his career, he played 45 games last season, he played 37 games in the season before that, 34 games in the season before that. So he's basically an ever-present for Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's a very reliable player when it comes to his fitness. And also another evidence that he can score at the biggest stage is that he scored 2 goals already for the German national team. Against Turkey and Denmark, he scored in both games in friendlies. So 2 goals in 6 games for Germany already indicates that he will deliver at the biggest stage. And you might think that Florian Neuhaus for like 20-25 million seems like an underwhelming signing, but I remember when we signed Gini Wijnaldum, a lot of Liverpool fans were complaining, why are we signing a player from relegated Newcastle? Why are we signing a midfielder who got relegated with Newcastle? And remember what Wijnaldum accomplished. He became one of the biggest parts and one of the most important midfielders in this very successful Jurgen Klopp era. So I think Liverpool fans, especially the naysayers who say Florian Neuhaus, it's not a big name, he's not a superstar, trust Jurgen Klopp, trust the process, trust the scouting committee of Liverpool. They know much more about these players than you or I. will ever know, because they are scouting them. They are scouting them for years. They are watching every game. Jurgen Klopp also, he's not involved in the day-to-day scouting because that is pretty easy. Scouting a player, watching their games, that is pretty easy. What scouts do nowadays, actually, and that's not what Jurgen Klopp does, but what Jurgen Klopp is interested in, of course, after seeing what Neuhaus can do on the pitch, is when you scan the scouts out nowadays, they ask for Florian Neuhaus' behavior before games, after games. How hard does he train? When does he arrive to training? When does he arrive before match days? Does he have any bad habits? What does he do in his free time? What is his family life like? What is his background? What is his attitude in training? And the scouts and also Jurgen Klopp probably ask a lot of people around Florian Neuhaus and also around Borussia Mönchengladbach, what is he like off the pitch? Will he fit in at Liverpool? Because you need a certain work ethic, a certain mentality and a certain attitude to fit into Jurgen Klopp's dressing room, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, the style of play, and also the ethics, the ethos of the club. You don't want to sign a troublemaker. You don't want to sign a Mario Balotelli who will just cause trouble in and around the training and in around the dressing room. And I think Jurgen Klopp and also the Liverpool scouts are not just looking at the player and what he can do on the football pitch, but they are looking at the person behind the player. They are looking at his background and everything else, so to see whether Florian Neuhaus fits the bill. And if they decide that Florian Neuhaus will be signed, I think we should fully trust them, and I think we should really reserve our judgment until after we see the Florian Neuhaus play and develop for Liverpool. Because remember, this guy is just 24 years old. He's still a work in progress. His best years are probably ahead of him. Gini Wijnaldum was of a similar age when we signed him. He was like 24, 25 years old. And then he spends 5 years at Liverpool. And when we signed him, we were a Europa League club, or not even that. And then we started progressing. We made it into the Champions League, and then we made it to the Champions League final. And then we won the Premier League. And we won the Champions League with Wijnaldum as well. And you might think, is it a good strategy to sign Florian Neuhaus after the Euros? Because if he has amazing Euros, then his price will skyrocket and a lot more clubs will be interested in him. But the good news actually for Liverpool is that Florian Neuhaus is not a regular starter for Germany. He's a bench player, he's a substitute player, so he won't play probably as much to increase his price or for other clubs to take much notice of him, and that could be actually a benefit for Liverpool. But there is also an argument that, you know, because Germany played this 4-3-4-3 formation, Joachim Löw has gone for this formation with only 2 central midfield spots, and he's playing wingers and left and right midfielders as well. And Toni Kroos and Ilkay Gündogan are the 2 central midfielders who are regularly starting for Germany. So probably Florian Neuhaus won't play as much at the Euros as some other midfielders, and that will not increase his price and increase his stock among other clubs, and that could benefit Liverpool in the short term at least, because we don't want to overpay for Florian Neuhaus. And I think for 25-30 million, German international who scored 8 goals last season in the Borussia Mönchengladbach, who finished in the Europa League places, I think that's a pretty reasonable transfer fee for a very big talent. And Ian Doyle also reported this about Liverpool's transfer plans for the summer. Liverpool will hope to move on both Harry Wilson and Marco Grujic long before the start of next season. Jurgen Klopp has already indicated that he will use pre-season before deciding on how best to utilize Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, the centre-back pairing, which saw Liverpool over the line in the pursuit of Champions League qualification last month. Jurgen Klopp will utilize those opening 3 Premier League matches to decide on the final makeup of his squad, but it will more likely more likely be determining who doesn't need to be there rather than what is missing. And also I heard that Jurgen Klopp is going to trial Thiago as a number 10 in pre-season and see whether we can get the best out of Thiago, playing him further forward, because his vision, his passing is so good that he's a little bit wasted as a defensive midfielder, and he's not an out-and-out defensive midfielder. We have Fabinho and Henderson for that. And if Thiago can play further forward, he can get loads of assists, and I'm pretty convinced that he can get goals as well. And if we can turn Thiago into an attacking midfielder, I think he can really solve one of the problems that Liverpool have, is that we don't get enough goals from midfield. If Thiago gets closer to the goal, I'm pretty convinced with his skills and with his shooting ability and with his accuracy, with his right foot, I think he can score easily 5 to 10 goals at least. But if he plays regularly as a number 10, I expect Thiago to score at least 10 goals if he plays like 40-45 games, something that is not very unusual from a Liverpool midfielder. So that actually makes me even more excited for next season. And Harry Wilson, who is at the Euros with Wales. Wales got a big win against Turkey, and Harry Wilson played pretty well. He almost scored as well. He said, going into the season, I had the Euros in my head. I knew that was coming at the end of the season. I knew I had to be somewhere where I was going to play regular football, make sure I had the minutes that I wanted. I knew being at Liverpool, I wasn't going to get that. When the chance to go on loan came around, I knew I had to take it. To play for Cardiff, a Welsh team, was a great honor for me. This season there were a lot of ups and downs, and I think we started fairly well. We had a bit of a sticky spell in the middle, change of manager, but then the last 12 or 13 games I feel I did well. I played regularly, I scored a few towards the end. I was happy with the way the season finished and the minutes I got throughout. When you come away with Wales, I only ever focus on the next game, because I feel if you are to think about anything else, you would be silly. You can get distracted, so my focus here is fully on Wales and making sure we get as far in this competition as we can. Once the competition has finished, that's when I will think about what's happening at club level. So Harry Wilson will probably see whether he can get into the Liverpool team, or at least into the Liverpool squad. And I think if Harry Wilson gets some minutes in pre-season and if he impresses Jurgen Klopp, he actually has a chance to stay at Liverpool and at least play some games. I would actually just give Harry Wilson just one season. Just get him in and around the squad. Jurgen Klopp should see him in training. Jurgen Klopp should give him minutes in the League Cup, in the FA Cup, and in some Premier League games. And let's see how he does. And if he does well, who knows? Because his potential, I think, is better than playing at a mid-table Premier League club. He could actually be a good squad player for Liverpool, but of course he probably needs to play regularly. So yeah, let me know, what would you do with Harry Wilson if you were Jurgen Klopp? And also, Liverpool goalkeeper Adrian has managed to sign a new contract and extend his stay at Anfield after a new contract, and he said, I'm delighted, I'm very happy to stay in the club. It's a pleasure to stay in Liverpool. It's such a big club. It's very special for any player to stay here. I'm not the biggest fan of Adrian, but he's a decent goalkeeper, and as a third choice goalkeeper I think he will be alright. My only worry is that I heard that Liverpool are planning to loan out Kevin Kelleher, our second choice goalkeeper last season, and if he gets loaned out and if Alisson gets injured, and Alisson seems to pick up these niggling injuries for 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 months, if Alisson is out for 1 or 2 months and we have to rely on Adrian, I don't think Adrian fills the defense with any confidence, and especially the Liverpool fans. I'm pretty worried because Adrian is not like a world-class goalkeeper. He can be pretty good on his day, but also pretty shaky. But I will support all the Liverpool players, and it's very hard, very difficult for big clubs who have a absolutely undisputed number 1 goalkeeper. Like Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world in my opinion. He is the number 1, and any goalkeeper that comes in at Liverpool, he knows that he will only play a few games every season. So it's very hard to sign a quality goalkeeper unless you move on Alisson. And of course Liverpool are not going to do that, and let's hope that Alisson will play for Liverpool for the next 10 years as well. And Adrian said this: I try to help Liverpool in every moment. I try to enjoy and give my experience in every second to the player who plays in that moment or when I play, to try to be together at the same time. As Jürgen said, I'm a team player. I try to support. Even if I'm not the first choice goalkeeper, I try to give that confidence to the other goalkeepers, to try to give that confidence in the dressing room, in the training ground every day, to push each other. Because when you are giving your best, the other one is giving their best for sure, and you are pushing each other. At the end, it's good for the club, for the group, for the manager as well, to take the right decision in the moment for the game. I'm happy to do that job, and also to try to have my opportunity as well and give the best when I have the chance. So I don't really have any problems with Adrian. I just hope that Kelleher in the end ends up staying at Liverpool, because I think he's just a better goalkeeper. Also, Diogo Jota has given an interview to the 442 magazine, and he said, Cristiano Ronaldo was my idol growing up. I saw him playing at the highest level at Manchester United, winning the Ballon d'Or and other awards. Being Portuguese, I've always looked up to him as an example to follow. When I made my international debut against Lithuania in November 2019, I came on as a substitute for him, which made the moment more special for me. I can only be grateful to have the opportunity to share a dressing room with Ronaldo. Of course, Liverpool fans won't really like that, but as a Portuguese player, I mean, who else is your idol but Cristiano Ronaldo? That's totally understandable. Every kid growing up in Argentina, is their idol is either Maradona or nowadays Lionel Messi. But also Diogo Jota has said some very interesting things about Jürgen Klopp. He said he's exactly the manager that he appears to be. Very communicative, and he enjoys being close to the players. He will send you a text out of nowhere when you are relaxing on the sofa at home. It's the sort of thing that had never happened to me, and that surprised me in the most positive way. It's just one of his great assets. Before signing the papers, I had a video call with him. I don't think he was expecting to convince me, because I was already convinced. He's a coach who I admire and who had been following for a long time. So this was a unique opportunity in my career, and I couldn't afford to lose it. We usually say that we don't have to think twice. In this case, I didn't think once. It was a no-brainer to sign for Liverpool. I was very well received by everyone at the club, which certainly helped me. I'm close to the Brazilians, especially Fabinho, because of the language. But I also have a good relationship with Jordan Henderson, James Milner, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. Liverpool play offensive football, which gives me more chances to score. It's up to me to take advantage of that. So that's a brilliant interview by Diogo Jota, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.